everyone. Once again, thanks for joining Cretum Advisory webinar series on the emerging theme, Impetus for Investment in India. Our theme is in line with the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, vision to create Atmanirbhar Bharat. I am your host for today, Kapil Mahani, CEO and founder of Cretum Advisory, which is a multidisciplinary firm helping the companies in cross-border investment. In this webinar series, we are capturing the views of industry leaders, international partners, investors, bureaucrats, and policy experts on the emerging theme of investment in India, coupled with Make in India. So in this webinar series, till now we have taken interviews and views from various leaders, including India team, who is actively working for investment in India, Mr. Vijay Goyal from London, Mr. Zayed Maniar from Crow UAE, from Dubai, Mr. Tarun Gulati from London, Squared Watermelon. So now, today we have a different theme, and now Cretum Advisory has signed an MOU with INPC for cross-border investment between India and France. So now in this webinar, we have with us Mr. Raju Sharma, who is the co-founder and CEO of INPC Consulting, and he is also a co-founder of Indian Business Club. Thank you, Mr. Raju, for coming and for this wonderful MOU which has been signed for the cross-border investment. I would request someone, there is someone who is also using the YouTube link, so I request anyone to stop using that YouTube link as INPC Consulting is a French business consulting firm, specializes in the business development between India and France. Along with us, today we have Mr. Ludwig Delio, who is a French entrepreneur and now based in Paris. He is very much involved in enhancing relations between France and India. He has founded multiple companies, digital construction and import distribution, particularly with India, bringing, for instance, Haldi, well-known Indian brand in France, Southern Territory. Thank you, Mr. Ludwig, for coming for this to this webinar and for the India and France.
Thank you, Kapil, for inviting.
Again, I'm requesting. I think there's someone who is using the YouTube link. So if anyone is using the YouTube link for kindly use, because my voice is echoing again. Mr. Ludwig, your video is now, we cannot see you. So if you can switch on your video, that would be great. Is that okay? I can still hear my voice. That's if you can check that any YouTube link of the.
We haven't used the thing.
Let's start. So now in this webinar, we have a different theme now. Earlier, we were used to ask questions from our partners. But now in this event, we will be more giving replies to international partners for India, France. So over to you, if Mr. Raju and Ludwig can introduce yourself a little bit about, so that everyone can understand about yourself from India, France.
So, yeah, hi everyone, and thank you, Kapil, for this wonderful time with us. And I would really like to thank you for also collaborating, together, developing the business and also the relationship between these two countries. And yeah, it is really a proud moment to announce that Cretum Advisory is now present in France as well, by linking with the INPC Consulting. And now we complete our business because INPC Consulting was mostly focused in the business development, not including the taxations like GST and customers or direct tax regulatory services. But now, joining hand with you, like Cretum Advisory, now I think we have proven to be a package, like global package for the investors, either from France to India or from India to France. And this is really we are really thankful to to getting to know you also. So yeah, INPC Consulting. In fact, just to introduce myself, I am Indian origin. I am from northeast part of India, from Ismaili state with Sikkim, and it's been now around more than 9 years I'm living in France. So this is very interesting, working with India, because India is a very huge country, and when we see with the French partners who wants to invest in India, they need some assurance, like because there are some communication differences, difficulties in communications. So, being an Indian, working in France, knowing the French culture as well as Indian, of course, by birth. So, this makes interesting to work in between these two countries, right? So, and now by joining with Ludovic, it is again very interesting because he is a French. So now, I think with all of us, I think we have made a very good team to work and
Yes,
develop
definitely.
the between France and India.
Yes. So, so going, if Mr. Ludwig can also introduce a little bit about himself, specifically for the India-France trade, and I would like to tell everyone who is on the live panel that Mr. Raju, although based from India, but he's spending entirely, and he's also a resident of France, and entirely spending time with the French investors.
Yes. Thank you, Raju,
Over
for
to
this
you,
short
Mr. Ludwig.
introduction.
In fact, I'm having my family, French family.
Thank you, Kapil, for the introduction, and thank you for the few words. I would like to join to speak about France and India relationship, and especially in the business field. We have a lot to do, and I think this is the first part of what we have to do next to ensure that we can and capture all the opportunities we have in both our countries. As you said, I've set up companies before, but now I'm involved in a big project for Electricité de France, which is a major electricity company in France, as you know, and it is currently submitting a project to set up 6 nuclear reactor in the Maharashtra state, Jaitapur. So this is a big project, the first one in the world for nuclear production. So I'm involved in this project as part of a financial controller and helping the project and the company to put.
If you can speak louder, so your voice is low. If you can speak louder, that would be great.
Sure. So that's okay for my presentation. Let me know if you want to do more, but we can go now further to the question, I think.
Yes. Then thank you, Ludwig. And now, just to going further, briefly telling about myself with the India practice. I am the CEO and co-founder, and the Cretum Advisory is a multidisciplinary firm which has presence on every part of India and internationally in Dubai, and now with France as well, in other part of the countries who are association. I specifically looks after all the incentives and the policies which are being provided by the Indian government, and closely working for all the companies who are looking for investment in India, along with all the partners from Big Four practice who have spent several years with now Big Four consulting firms and a cumulative experience of more than 100 years in terms of the practice line. So now going further about how this theme should be worked upon for this webcast. So it's all that I will be I will be asking some questions from Mr. Raju, and Mr. Raju will be asking questions about the India, and I will be providing the replies on the aspects from the India perspective side, and also the expectations of France investors will be more from the Mr. Raju. Thank you. So over to you, Raju, Mr. Raju, and you can start with some questions which you have.
Yeah, but I just want to be clear. Do you hear us well? Because your voice are cracking sometimes, you know. Is it okay?
Yeah, actually, I am still able to hear my voice. So I think that's some challenge, or if anyone can look at his side about uh, any YouTube or anything which is on, I request to close because I can. So there is some echo voice which I can still hear.
Yeah, because
Can you?
something is okay. So now I think it's fine. So just coming to the point, yeah, you know, like talking about the investment between two countries and looking to the present scenario with the COVID-19, you know, though in fact we globally we are all in somehow the economic recessions, you know. So in fact, I think this is the time where we need to focus on developing both the countries, or you know, we should develop the investor side as well as the investment, like the countries who are investing also, because now we can see lots of companies are in the chapter 11. So you know, like I think this is the right time to help them how we can overcome all these situations by helping, you know. So my first question to Kapil is, what are the major areas of investment in India as per the current scenario?
Okay, so that's actually a very good question with regard to the investment in India. So first of all, I would like to tell you that uh, if we see from the till March 2020, the kind of investments which has come to India from the FDI side, then majorly are services sector, computer, software and hardware, telecommunication, trading, construction, automobile industry, chemicals, construction activities, drug and pharmaceutical, and last but not the least, hotel and tourism. So these are the top 10 FDIs which has come up from in the last year. Now coming to the automobile industry, can you hear my voice so that everyone is my voice audible to everyone?
Yes, it's okay for us.
Still some problem with the diffusion, I guess. No.
Is my voice audible?
Still we have some difficulties, but yeah, we are audible. We can hear you well now.
Okay, so talking more from the point of view of automobile industry, the automobile industry currently, the industry currently manufactures 25 million vehicles, out of which 3.5 million are exported. And India actually holds a strong position in the international heavy vehicles arena, as it is the largest tractor manufacturer, second largest bus manufacturer, and third largest heavy truck manufacturer in the world. And that sector attracted 22.4 billion FDI during the period April 2000 to June 2019, which accounting to 5.1% of the total FDI inflows. And this sector is 100% FDI. So in this sector, the 100% FDI is allowed under the automatic route. Coming to the automobile spare parts industry, the automobile auto component industry exports, which is currently valued at 15.2 billion, is exported to grow at an annual rate of 23.9% to reach 80 billion by 2026. And you will be surprised to know that USA, Germany, UK, Thailand, Italy are the top destinations for export. Aftermarket segment, which includes tire, battery, brake parts, is expected to reach 32 billion by 2026 from 10.1 billion currently. Talking more from the point of view of other industry like pharmaceutical, medical devices, and ESDM, during the COVID period, there's a company, Hollister INC. They have set up a plant in Haryana, which is a 100% export unit for medical supplies to other countries. Apart from this, the government of Haryana is also pitching for the investment into the state. So if we talk about the India, so India is a country wherein 29 states and 8 union territories are there. So I repeat, India is a country wherein 29 states and 9 union territories are there. And Haryana is one of the states in which the investment has come. From the point of view of another investment, the Foxconn, which is an Apple company, has announced a project and has an investment of 500 million and created 30,000 jobs. From the point of view of leather and footwear industry, recently, Von Welex, which is a German company, recently shifted its plant from China to Agra with an initial investment worth of 100 crores. In the textile sector, the country is expanding the domestic market size from 40 billion to 50 billion by 2024, which means that there are opportunities worth 10 billion in this sector. Similarly, for chemical industry, there are numerous examples, but I'm just summarizing. In the chemical, Germany headquartered Scotch AG, internationally specialist glass and technical ceramic material manufacturer, increases sales in India and plans to record investment. Toray Industries India, a subsidiary of Japanese major Toray Industries, they will invest 1,000 crore to set up plant for manufacturing chemicals used as advanced raw material in Sri City, which is one of the states in India, Andhra Pradesh. In terms of food manufacturing, the Ministry of Food Processing, they are making all effort to encourage investment across the value chain. And government, as till now, they have sanctioned 39 mega food parks to set up in the country under the mega food park scheme. And currently 18 mega food parks have become functional. And 100% FDI is permitted under the automatic route in food processing industries. And in the 100% FDI is allowed through government approval route for trading, including e-commerce in respect of food products manufactured or produced in India. That's so that's more from the point of view of your answer. Uh, uh, Over to you, Mr. Raju.
I think Ludovic, you have one question for Kapil.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Kapil, for this first answer. We would like to go further and to know more about what is India, meaning India government at state level or local level. What is India offering to foreign companies looking for investment in India? We know that just to put a little context, that India is only the 27th country of FDI for France. So there is a big gap to fill in and to restore these figures. So FDI is low regarding investment, but regarding the presence of subsidiary, French is important. We officially count more than 500 subsidiaries of French companies in India. So our question is, what India is offering to make this FDI more in the next years?
In fact, this is a very good question from the point of view of the foreign investors. That what India is offering. When you use the word offering, what I can only interpret in terms of the incentives, what I can interpret in terms of the FDI, foreign direct investments, what are the relaxations in foreign direct investments, and what are the plannings which India is doing from the standpoint of view of investment. So, first of all, from the incentives point of view,
yes,
Mr. Ludwig, I again request you if you can see your any phone which is on YouTube, because I'm still hearing the voice of mine in an echo. If you can see.
No, I have no YouTube open now.
Okay. So the first answer is that in India there are 3 schemes worth 7 billion, which is being announced by the government of India to boost electronics and medical devices sector. One of them is the production linked incentive scheme under the ESDM.
Okay.
Wherein 4 to 6% of the subsidy is being provided to the companies linked with the production. The second scheme is with regard to the specs for promotion scheme for electronics and semiconductors, wherein the 25% subsidy on plant and machinery is being provided to all the companies who will manufacture into the electronic and semiconductors. The third, electronic manufacturing branch parks, which is a housing for labor and other infrastructure support, is being formed. Apart from that, the Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs, they have approved a setting up of National Technical Textile Mission at a total outlay of $211.42 million. The Indian government has laid down many norms in order to boost the ease of doing business in India. The Indian government has provided various assistance and incentives to the investors engaged in different sectors. So government, on a broader sense, government will provide subsidy in the capital investments. Government has exempted the investors in terms of paying stamp duty for loan agreements and in case of land, sale and lease of lands to start the manufacturing. The state government has exempted the investors from various GST by way of refunds under various states of manufacturing schemes. The government is providing rebates in the power tariff, land, and office spaces. The government is also assisting by way of subsidy for the skilled, for training the workers. They are providing the subsidy so that the training cost which will be incurred by the companies, they will get the reimbursement under various schemes of the government. The government is assisting various investors in providing land to establish industry. Apart from that, talking more from the point of view of foreign direct investment relaxations, recently the government has relaxed the manufacturing of medical devices up to 100%, food product retail trading up to 100%, healthcare under the brownfield projects up to 75% via automatic route, and above 74% via government route. So you need to take permission via if going above 74%. In a pharmaceutical side, again, 74% automatic route FDI is being allowed, so no need of permission, everything is automatic. Recently, Finance Minister announced the enhancement of FDI up to 74% in defense manufacturing, which is again a very important for Indo-France events. So that's more from the point of view of what are the incentives and what are the kind of relaxations and planning which India is doing from the point of view of inviting investments. And apart from that, India is aggressively pitching for the investments, and you can see a multiple events, multiple cross-border events which are being done. Recently, there is an event wherein Honorable Prime Minister of India was there, and he spoken and invited the investors to come to India and do the trade. In the Indo-US event, in the India Idea Summit. I hope I'm able to give you the answer now from the point of view of the government's side. Although the list is plenty, but I have to summarize certain broader things.
I think we got a global view, what we wanted to know. But so I can move with the third questions. Like you have briefed us all the relaxations in FDI norms, also the schemes, governmental schemes, the India government is providing. And I also hope that this is not only for the FDIs, also for the Indian entrepreneurs like SMEs and, like all the small and medium startups or the entrepreneurs. But I have a small question, like, of course, India government is doing lots of things for the investor or investing side. But when we come to the points like how India is prepared to welcome the projects or the companies, like we come to know, like daily we are getting some news, few companies moving from China or other countries, like delocalization. And even government of France, they want few companies to come and relocate in French territory only. So, like how India is prepared in this point. And also when we see, like when we come to points such as the infrastructures in the country, for example, the development of new airports or seaports or even the railway routes. So it's India government also investing in this particular field. And also the third very important point, I think, when we work when we are involved in the global investments or global business, the logistics system, which is very, very important. So how India government is looking towards these all subjects, these all topics.
So I think the questions are more specific, and I must say that these are more focused for the investors. So talking more from the point of view of how India is prepared. So if you see that one of the noble organization, which is a non-profitable organization, Invest India, which is a government investment agency, they have received multiple inquiries from Japan, South US, South Korea, and China. and expressing interest in relocating in the Asia's third largest economy. The Commerce and Industry Minister has also started the ranking of the states. So what they are doing is they have created a peer pressure among the states to increase the concept of ease of doing business. So each state has its own state governments and there is a central government. So now the Commerce Minister, they have started ranking the states in terms of ease of doing business. So this is very important to create a peer pressure within the country so that every state is actually pitching for and asking for investments in India. If you see, there is one of the state, the northern state of like Uttar Pradesh, they have developed an online system for land allotment for all industrial and commercial purpose. And they are in talk with global companies for attracting investment in sectors such as defense and aerospace. And the same has been initiated by other states as well. They have also decided to help the states undertake a similar exercise with the respective district. And in December 2019, the government permitted 26% FDI in digital sectors. In August 2019, the government permitted 100% FDI under the automatic route in coal mining for open sale. In Union Budget 2019-20, the Government of India proposed opening FDI in aviation, media, and insurance sector in consultation with all the stakeholders. And recently, 100% FDI is being permitted under the insurance intermediaries. And India, specifically in the COVID time period, if I talk about, they have established a 100 crore PP kit market in the span of 3 months in the COVID pandemic crisis. And now, earlier, the exports of PP kits were not allowed, but recently, with this month, they have allowed to export the PP kits under the conditional approval with a quota which is being prescribed for each month for the manufacturers. So this is again a very important step which Indian government has taken to align and to help the other countries by allowing the exports. I can just give you a few of the recent investments which has come into the country. In June 2020, Jio Platform, which is a Reliance group, they sold 22.38% stake worth 1.04 trillion, 14.75 billion, if I talk about of the US dollars, to 10 global investors in the span of 8 weeks under separate deal involving Facebook, Silver Lake, Vista, General Atlantic, Mubadala, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, TPG Capital, and list is still going on. So the Google, they have announced that they will invest 4.5 billion in disruptive popular India internet firm Jio Platform. And the deal gives Google a 7.7% stake in the company. This is the largest continuous fundraise by any company in the world. And I'm sure that all thing is happening because India is prepared. In January 2020, Amazon India announced investment of $1 billion for digitizing small and medium business and creating 1 million jobs by 2025. In October 2019, French oil and gas giant Total SA acquired 37.4% stake in Adani Gas Limited, approximately $810 million, making it the largest FDI in India's city gas distribution sector. Until now, most big French groups have their subsidiaries in India. You talk about with service industry, BNP Paribas, Sodexo, pharmaceutical chemical industry, Arkema, aerospace industry, Dassault, Eurocopter, Safran, agro-food industry, electronic industry, construction industry, electronic component industry, automobile industry, Michelin, plastic, Renault, Volvo. These are the big some names which are French groups, and they have kept their presence by way of subsidiaries in India. I think that is itself a big answer that India is actually prepared, and that's why these global companies are investing and in the COVID time period. And I'm sure when these companies are taking decisions, so there is a full background study of various things which must have been done, and this is one of the synergies or credentials which India has earned during the COVID period.
Thank you, Kapil, for your response. This was what we were expecting from your side. It's very interesting to see like lots of French companies, they are already invested in India, and even in future there will be lots of companies coming to India. We are sure. So I let Ludovic for the next question. I think you are prepared with the next one.
Yes, thank you, Kapil, for your last answer. It was very interesting to have all this insight from you. We understood from your last answer that India put in place incentives and several apps to welcome foreign investment, and these packages will attract for sure investment, and you show us some good example. This is the example you indicate to us is mainly for big corporation, but there is also a lot of SMEs, particularly in France, who could invest in India, and they don't have all the support financially or in resources to make all the study to see if India is a good plan to develop. And from the France side, we have in mind that India is very difficult for companies to set up in India because of the administration. So can we go a bit further on this, and can you give us some key points of why our companies here, especially SMEs, may choose or have to choose India now as a business partner? And can you give us some concrete example of what government have done to make business easy to do in India, please?
That's again a quite good answer. That why companies should, or I'll say the SME sector should choose India as a business hub. So first, I will give you this answer in various. So if you see the India consumer market, it's close to $4 trillion by 2025, and every company wants to tap that opportunity. So India is one of the third largest consumer market in the world. If you see the technology penetration for the last 5 years, access to smart phones and internet subscription and e-commerce is very much handy in India. India has the strongest and youngest population, the age comprising of 28 to 35 years. There's a feasibility of feasible availability of the laborers, and I'll say not a costly, but a labor which is a cost friendly. Population which is a high disposable income, so that the people, all the international players who are looking for India, they can use India as a market for consumer. The tax laws, the India tax laws, India in 2017, they have aligned, they have introduced the GST, goods and service tax, in order to align with the world tax practices, the best tax practices. If you see internationally across the globe, the GST is being introduced, and India, in aligning with that, has introduced the GST. In terms of the income tax, which is a corporate tax, they, in order to reduce the kind of assessment, they have made the faceless assessments and refunds, so that the company and the officer cannot meet. Everything is faceless, and that is the kind of things which is to make a system more neutral and for the international investors. From the point of view of, if you see from the mobile industry, India is the third largest manufacturer of mobile phones. There's a company by the name of Arkema has constructed a new leading class polyester powder resin manufacturing facility, the first of its kind in India. It can be noted that the presence of cheap yet technically adept workforce has been one of the key assets which has led to the growth of IT service space in the country over the past 3 decades, which has now grown to 160 billion forex earners for the nation. So from the IT industry, there is one state which is Bangalore, Karnataka, wherein maximum IT companies are being based and providing the exports of service to not only to one or two across the globe. And that has led to domestic companies like TCS, Infosys, Wipro growing into multi-billion dollar corporation, competing with their global peers like IBM, Accenture, which have also set up a face here over the years. Caterpillar, US-based company, supporting growth in mining, transportation, captive power generation, and construction of infrastructure. So if you see that, if I have to summarize from the perspective of your answer, then I can say that why the companies should choose in a summarize that India is a first, the manufacturing can be done very easily, and not only the manufacturing, the service sector, the technology, the kind of workforce, the labor laws, they have now been so much open from the point of view of the companies and flexible. Invest India, which is a non-profitable organization, is one of the agency who is helping the companies in taking approvals quickly. And when I talk about India as a business hub, then specifically for the companies who wants to test the Indian waters, they can go and they can start the plug and play model, wherein they can acquire some company in India, and without investing their time in terms of obtaining approvals and start as a greenfield projects, they can start the process by just adopting the company. And specifically in the COVID time period, the valuations of those companies are very low. So it will be like a more low-hanging fruits for everyone who wants to tap and come up to India and start manufacturing, and not only use India as a OEM for the contract manufacturing for exports, but also to make a consumer market to utilize their product and penetrate their products in India, so that their revenues increase. And recently in a defense aerospace, the India has allowed and relaxed certain FDI norms. So now I am personally assisting some companies wherein they have come up to India and they are looking out the structuring options, how they can do the imports and how they can also start the manufacturing of those. So in a summarized way, there are so much of opportunities which are available to India, and that's where the USP lies of India.
Wow, this was very interesting again, Kapil. Just to add a few things again, it can be something like your response. India, there are few states which are still not known in the global world also. And when I see these few states from northeast part of India, for example, just we take a very small state, Sikkim, right? So this state, it's 100% organic state in the world. So now everyone are running behind the organic food when we come to the alimentation, right? And this state is doing since 4 5 years, and it's 100% organic certified. I think well known. Even we had once in French television also. So why I'm telling this is because these are the things which we can take as a niche market. There are few investment possibilities to go and see like new things which aren't still visible in the market. And when you also talk about the plug and play model, unfortunately, there are many sectors which were highly affected or impacted due to this sanitary crisis, which led to the economic recession everywhere. So I think there are many companies which are also in difficulties, right? As everywhere. Even we can see, I think we will talk about this subjects in the coming webinar sessions, what is happening in France and what kind of facilities are provided to the foreign investor who wants to invest in France. That will come in the next chapter, next webinar session
Yes,
with
yes,
all the details, how you respond to us. We are hoping to respond to you also in the same way. So
yes.
I have a final question to conclude this session. So like which sectors or Indian companies who is looking for the stake sale to the foreign companies, maybe they can be in difficulties, and also the foreign companies who are looking for a plug and play model, because it's a lots of investment and time investment also. So this could be quite interesting to keep the existing company who is in trouble right now by bringing the foreign investor, so it could be kind of win-win situation. So can you just give us some brief details about the sectors or the companies looking for the stake sale to the foreign investors or investments?
Okay. So talking more from the point of view of the when you say that Indian companies who are looking for stake sale and as well as the plug and play model. So first of all, I would like to apprise you that if you so we have already discussed in the above question that there are companies which have started which have come to India, and among that certain companies they have used the concept of OEM, wherein they appoint some local contract manufacturer who is having an open bandwidth of any manufacturing capacity. So if you see one of the example, there's a German manufacturing of a shoe manufacturing company. They appointed one company in Uttar Pradesh, which is one of the state in India, to manufacture shoes which were earlier being manufactured by their plant in China by the contract manufacturer. And what is the benefit of that? So that company who might be thinking to come to India and take approvals and start manufacturing, they 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 have gone to one manufacturer who is already running their manufacturing, who is having a operations license, labor license, everything which is available, and they have given that contract to that manufacturer to manufacture their present open bandwidth. So let's suppose that manufacturing company has an open bandwidth of 40%. So for that 40%, they can give that space to for a foreign company who is looking for some Indian manufacturer to manufacture shoes. And over the time period, they will increase that capacity. So in this scenario, the foreign company have tasted the waters. Rather than investing their time, money, approvals, they have reduced their cost in terms of all the land, because in any of the costing, the one of the major costs is of lease and approvals at the initial point of time. So they have reduced their costs by not taking their own space, and they gone to some company who is already into that manufacturing line. So by that, they have benefited. The second line of players, which since I'm all talking from the experience which we also facing and we are also giving to our clients, the second type of things which the companies might be is there is an Indian company who is already having a land and building facility, but the technology, which is any product manufacturing, is a baseline and a backbone. That technology and the skills will be provided by the foreign company, and in collaboration, the Indian company will provide the land and building and all the approvals, and the foreign company will come up with the technology, and they join together as a MOU and as a joint venture to start production. So there are numerous companies in India which have such level of capacity and which are looking so that a foreign company who wants to come, and they already have so many other kind of contracts, similar contracts, which they are already doing it from last 15 to 20 years. So there are certain kind of companies into this side as well. So this is again a kind of plug and play wherein any foreign company, they don't have to take approval, but simultaneously they don't have to appoint a contract manufacturer. The manufacturing will be done under their supervision. Everything will be done. So it will be like a joint venture, so that the distribution will be done in India and as well as export. So this model is again a different kind of model. The third kind of model is when any company wants to buy. So now coming to your question. So if any company wants to buy another, so in India, there is a board which is called the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, wherein any company who is under the liquidation, they have to go on to that process by that specific provision. So all those companies which are under the liquidation, so under that liquidation, the liquidator has the right to sell those companies. And in that scenario, what can be seen, what we have seen. So there is a specific dedicated portal of the government as well who manages this. And if you see to that portal, as if now we have taken the numbers from that website, 5,453 companies have been sent so far into the liquidation under the Pan India by July 2020, according to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. A bulk of Indian companies who are looking for a stake sale are in the manufacturing sector, with it making up for 2 out of 5 cases filed under the IBC, Insolvency Board. So if you see the sectors, then textile, leather and apparel products, real estate, renting and business activities, wholesale and retail trade, manufacturing of automobile parts of industrial are the top line under the activities of liquidation. So in a summarized way, if any company from the France wants to come to India, they can come it under by way of a contract manufacturer or the service industry to provide. When I talk about from the service industry, then in India, there are so many outsourcing activities which can be provided to the global to reduce the cost. Second model, which is openly, is by way of joint ventures, wherein Indian company have a credentials of land and building, and the foreign company can provide the patents and technology to manufacture or to provide the services. The third model is buying any company, and the fourth model is doing everything of their own, starting from buying land or taking land on lease to every approval. So that's the kind of all models which are available. And in all the models, I must tell you that Indian government, when a company is looking for doing everything from start to end, then Indian government has set up credentials wherein they have taken approvals within a span of 3 months' time. So that is the kind of credentials which India is setting under the ease of doing business. And lastly, if you see the India's ranking in the ease of doing business has gone to 63 ranking among the 190 countries in the world. The leap of 14 places from 2018, that has put India as among the top 10 improvers in the rank yet again, according to the Agency Ease of Doing Business 2020 report. Labor laws has been relaxed. Incentives has been provided. And you touched upon the Assam, the Northeast. I must tell you that Assam has its own or the Sikkim, the Northeast, is providing various incentives under the food parks, under the manufacturing of pharmaceutical sector, via of refunds, capital subsidies, and even so every state is itself providing incentives because the land laws covered under the state, and the center, which is driving the centrally all the states, that is also providing all the incentives. So it is more like two incentives by the Indian government along with various relaxations into the certain product lines. So government has developed mega bulk drug park in collaboration with state under the promotion of bulk drug parks. In Assam, government is providing 100% GST exemptions to investors engaged in manufacturing and service sector under the Assam Industrial Investment Policy. So if I have to speak, then there are so numerous things, but just to summarize everything, I have jotted down things for you. Over to you, Mr. Raju.
I think you have given us everything today, and now we can conclude by telling this is the right time to go and invest in India, right?
Yes, yes. So
thank you so much, Kapil, for this beautiful session. I think we have run out of time also. And
yes,
last but not the least, I want to also tell to everyone who is looking us online, I really want to thank each and everyone from France as well as from India and other part of other countries, right? And we also want to announce one good news that very soon in 1 month, our business club, Indian Business Club, will be active, and we will be having office in Paris as well as in Delhi, so we can connect. We can have a very big network, entrepreneurs network. So, and the India side, again, Cretum Advisory will be heading the administrative part, and in France we will be governing the same way. So I think this can be again a second move in developing the entrepreneurs network as well as doing
yes,
business in both the countries by keeping a
yes,
big fellowship partners, right? So
yes, definitely.
I thank you very much, Ludovic, as well, for your time. And next time we will be coming with the same list of questions, but moving towards investment in France. So
Yes,
and that time Kapil will be questioning us. So I really hope we will be able to give all the response as the way you gave today for us. So thank you so much for your
yes,
time and all
yes.
the answers.
So yes, thanks. And once again, I would like to. So it is a this partnership between the INPC and Cretum Advisory is bringing hands, and as well as increasing the space for both the companies in the cross-border trade, wherein the Cretum Advisory is more from the India side, and anyone who is looking for investment into the France, then Mr. Raju, who is heading the Cretum Advisory France Desk, will be taking all the relationship and the work from the France side. And talking more from the point of view of this, anywhere wherein so in the next session we have jot down all the questions which Indian investor who is planning to shift or to expand its service lines and the product line to the France, then we will be asking questions, since there are plenty of things which everyone wants to understand, specifically under the new normal, which is one of the words which is being widely used after the COVID time period. Thank you, Ludwig. Thank you, Raju, once again for the wonderful session. And thank you all audience from France to and India for listening this.
And just to conclude with the very last line, as we come when we speak about the investment in France, just for one little hint, corporate tax, it's a very big thing, and there are some reforms. So we will be coming with all these reforms, what the government is doing to develop. So these are the things what we will be coming in the next session.
Dan, thanks.
So thank you so much.